Mainly, how's this one stack up?
Yeah, we've been pretty good at this ground over the last few years. This game, I think, going to the last hour on day 5, I think, it just shows how good the quality of cricket was from both teams. We've came out with the win here, but to go all the way to the wire like we have done, it just shows that two pretty good teams going up against each other, and was a great start to the series.
As good as the chase was today, it was a standout to this one. The way that they got to 430 for 3 or something, and 300 for 4. They got away with both innings, and I guess you never believed it was gone.
No, definitely not. There's been a lot of skill that's obviously been required from this team this week to be able to come out on top like we have done. But I think one thing that we've done so well this week is our attitude and commitment to turning up every day, and also every session, in particular when we had the ball in our hand and out in the field. Sometimes when you have been out in the field for a long time, it's very easy to sort of wait for things to happen, but that's all we tried to focus on. Was when we had the ball in our hand, it was about running in and making sure that all your thinking was you were going to be the person to blow this game open, and at any point that could happen. It was obviously a very good wicket for batting on. I think the high scores have shown that, but some other pivotal moments in the game, obviously, there will be people who get the headlines here, but the way in which we were able to knock the Indian tail over very quickly on 2 occasions was also a massive reason to why we were able probably to restrict them to a score that we definitely felt comfortable to be able to chase, but we didn't allow it to get above into 450, 500, which India could easily have done. But yeah, I think as well as skill, there's been a huge contribution of our attitude and commitment to what we needed to do every single day in every single session.
And speaking of the headlines, it's Ben Duckett's turn today. Does he know how good that was today? Have you told him?
Yeah, he definitely does. Chasing 370 like we were, you always want to get off to a good start. You obviously, the least amount of wickets that you lose early on is obviously crucial, but the way in which Zach and Ben play the game at the top of that order for us is huge, in particular at moments like this. I've been 100, I think it was 160, 170 they put on without a wicket. Was a great start for us, and I think the way that Zach played as well was huge. They complement each other so well. Left hand, one's a giant, one's not, so it's very hard for bowlers to settle in, and when they both get going, it's hard to find any rhythm. I'm sure you can ask the bowlers opposition that they can be a nightmare when they're in for a long period of time. So Ducky's got the 149, but I think Zach's 70 as well was so important, and I thought he read the situation very well, knowing that sort of Ducky was getting away, and was able to put the pressure back onto them. But yeah, that opening partnership for us at the top's been very, very good over the last couple of years for us.
We'll go Mel, Chris, and then Stefan.
Sort of following on from that, the whole way through, when people have been sort of assuming that the way you play is about attack, and you've always said it was about absorbing pressure at times and counter-attacking. But was that whole chase almost the perfect template of batters who assess not just the conditions, but the pitch, the ball, and the bowlers who are on, and then really riding those 2 different modes?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you're chasing a score down, you're obviously looking at knocking the runs off in whatever situation and whatever conditions that you face with. The first and foremost thing that you have to think about is how am I going to score runs on this wicket. And I thought everyone who went out there, and got runs, read the situation and the way to be able to score runs on that wicket very, very well. The wicket sort of was consistently good, but every now and again it would just do something different to keep the bowlers interested in. And I thought the way that we read the situation, and in particular with the Indian bowling changes as well, I thought it was quite obvious to see that when the person was out there, chose the moment to actually put the pressure back onto the Indian bowling attack, and it was purposeful. But then also on the other side, it was quite obvious to see that this is a moment where the games could sort of swing, and we were able to assess that very quickly out there in the moment and hold off that pressure that India were putting on, if that makes sense. And So yeah, to be able to knock that total off 5 down was pretty impressive.
And just on the toss, the decision of the toss, how much of that was that you thought it might do a little bit more on that first day, and how much was the idea of what you know about chasing the end or the net?
No, it was about like you never know what a wicket's going to play like half an hour before any cricket's been on it. It looked like there was a lot of top moisture on it, felt like it was, so you know, when you win the toss, you obviously got to go, right, what am I going to do first? That's going to give us the best chance of winning this game. And Headingley generally does do quite a lot early on. So you know, with the bowling attack we had, in particular with you know, Wokesy with the new ball, I thought it was a great chance for us to be able to, you know, potentially nick 3 or 4 in the first hour. But look, the opposition are allowed to play well. They certainly did that on day 1 and into day 2 as well. Put a big score on the total, but yeah, we hadn't batted on it until we batted. So, and it's a good job Test cricket's over 5 days.
Chris, go ahead, please.
Hi Ben. Given the control that the team showed today in the chase and the fact that you're captain now, does this win feel more satisfying for you than that one against the Aussies here 6 years ago?
Look, winning any Test match against any opposition's satisfying. Obviously, some games have more on them than others, but you know, winning any Test match there's always a lot of hard work that goes into that. But to start the series off with a victory in the way that we've done it, you know, it's been a very hard-fought one. It's been a long, tough old, I shouldn't say slog because that sounds like old school, but yeah, it's just been proper effort from everyone with the ball in the field, and yeah, we got put under some pressure with the bat, but we were able to fend that off. And being here 1-0 up is obviously a great start, but yeah, there's 4 more games, so you know we'll celebrate like we should because it's a very good win. But yeah, we'll be quickly moving our focus over to what we need to do at Edgbaston to win that one as well.
And how encouraging is the performance and the nature of that win, given where we are at the start? You know, 10 huge Test matches this year.
So real emphasis on 10 there, wasn't there?
I won't mention the Ashes, but
yeah. Look, we're 1-0 up in a tough series. 4 games. We're going to have some more tough days. We're going to have some more good days. So yeah, we'll be taking it day by day and focusing on what we need to do for the remaining 4 games against India.
Stefan, Vish, Mike, please.
The team's obviously made a bit of a habit of those sorts of run chases. Why do you think they are so good at them?
I think we're a very simple minded pair, me and Baz, I think, when it comes to cricket. We obviously, everyone knows what cricket's about. It's about scoring more runs than your opposition, and when you strip it all back, that's what it's like. So we just try to keep everything as simple, calm as we possibly can. And when you're chasing down totals like that, how you are in the dressing room is actually very important to, you know, because lads have got jobs to go out there and do, and you know, keeping the sort of calm, relaxed vibe as much as we can throughout the dressing room is so important to sort of the mindset of how someone is to go out there when you're out there in the middle with the pressures of, you know, that situation in particular. So, you know, obviously cricket's about taking wickets and scoring runs, but there's a lot to do with it about, you know, what sort of mindset that you're able to get your players into in good days and bad days. So, yeah, just keeping everyone as calm and relaxed as we possibly can before they head out there is something that we always try and do.
Just taking the draw out of it, give that clarity as well.
Yeah, I think everyone goes out there with a pretty clear mind about what we're trying to do. You know, when we're faced with that situation there where time wasn't really an issue, it was pretty simple yesterday. It was, if we bat the overs that is left in this game, we will win this game just because of how quick this ground is at scoring. I don't know what the run rate throughout the whole week's been, but I'm presuming it's probably been over 4 and over anyway, without any team really doing anything, well, bar Richard. Yeah, it's just a very, very quick scoring ground, and you don't really need to try and do too much to be scoring at 3.5, 4 runs and over anyway.
So one each going forward, Vish, Mike, and then we'll take two on this side. Go ahead, Vish.
Hi Ben. What's it like watching Ben? Because I suppose even from up here, you know, he was reverse sweeping Jadea really well, and then you go out there and you were finding it quite difficult. In fact, despite the fact that it's a shot that you play, I feel like he just makes the game look easy for us. Is that kind of similar for when you're watching him?
Yeah, particularly when you get faced with conditions that are, you know, suiting spinners. Watching how Ben Ducker goes about his business is actually, particularly myself, I'm left-handed, twice the size of mine, but still something I try and do. I actually spoke to him when we came off for that tea break, rain break, whichever one it was. Look, he's one of the best in the world at doing, you know, reverse sweeps, and he's a fantastic player of spin, in particular about, you know, really tricky surfaces. So yeah, I actually just had a little word with him about what he thought I could potentially look at doing a little bit better to give myself a better chance. But it's quite so when you're in those there, and you just feel like if you're looking to sort of either just get forward or get back and, I don't know, try and manipulate on the leg side, it just felt like, yeah, any chance you could get out. So yeah, just going in with a clear game plan around putting Jadea under pressure there with my reverse sweeps is something I went out there with, and yeah, it's difficult conditions, but again, it just goes back to being clear and confident in what I needed to do to try and knock those runs off.
Mike in the corner, yeah.
Ben, I think it's fair to say there wasn't unanimous agreement with your decision to bowl first. Can I just double check, was there any stage in the first day and a bit where you thought to yourself, this isn't quite going according to plan, or did your belief remain unshakable throughout the 5 days?
Test matches played over 5 days, so imagine thinking that way at the end of day one before we've even had a chance to bat on a wicket.
Dave, and then we'll finish off with the gentleman here in front.
Hi Ben. Ben Duckett was quite a bold selection at the time, one of many his team made when he came back into the team as opener. But how impressed have you been with him in general, and is he just getting better and better from what you've seen?
I don't think it was bold. I think he was doing quite well for Notts, and he back at the time when he got selected, it was, you know, the way that he played would just come so naturally to him. So, but yeah, he's just again, like, he's a quality player. He's such a hard person to bowl to with that new ball, and I love the way that his natural game is to look to score and put bowling oppositions under pressure from pretty much ball one, and obviously in those complementary skills and attributes that Zach and Ben possess at the top of the order. You know, I think, was it their 2000th run together as an only partnership for England in pretty quick time. So yeah, like, again, they work with each other so well. But look, Ducky's been incredible since he's come into the team from that Pakistan tour, and he's shown that he can score runs, you know, pretty much all over the world and any conditions that he's faced with.
Last one, Crigbus, go ahead.
Yeah. The Indian coach was here a few minutes back, said that Bumrah is going to play only 2 other test matches, which means sort of India will be slightly weakened. And considering how your own bowling is coming up, your team, and it will have more personal going forward, you feel this test is probably the best start you have had and the best set of circumstances going into the other 4?
No. Yeah, there was obviously whispers around Bumrah only playing 3 games. Like, as I said, he's a great bowler, great player, very important player for whoever he plays for. Yeah, his decision to play 3.